Prime Minister's visit to Gujarat. Amongst the several other things on the agenda was this particular development as well that you see on your screens. The Prime Minister visited and inaugurated Vantara, which is a wildlife rescue and conservation centre in Gujarat. It's home to over 1.5 lakh rescued animals across 2,000 species. He explored the wildlife hospital equipped with MRIs, CT scans, ICUs, also specialized departments. The Prime Minister, in fact, interacted closely with rescued animals while feeding Asiatic and white lion cubs, a clouded leopard, a rhino calf as well. He also walked among zebras, fed a giraffe, met chimpanzees and orangutans, and also a golden tiger. He witnessed conservation efforts for Asiatic lions, snow leopards and one-horned rhinos, and also saw elephants receiving hydrotherapy at the world's largest elephant hospital. The Prime Minister also released rescued parrots and interacted with doctors and staff working at the centre. I want to go across to CNN News 18's Aman Sharma, who joins us live with more details. Aman, what do you make of these spectacular visuals that we're keeping up with? The Prime Minister, visiting the conservation centre, which is being spoken of across the country, and the manner in which there is so much work that has been ongoing essentially here. But overall, what do you make of the Prime Minister's interaction there, and the manner in which the Prime Minister also sought a certain feedback on what really has been ongoing at the conservation centre?
Well, absolutely, Kritswin. These are wonderful visuals coming from Vantara, and the Prime Minister was there. He's inaugurated the Wildlife Rescue Rehabilitation and Conservation Centre, the Vantara, and he's taken a close-up look at all the facilities there. Meeting and interacting very closely with the rescued animals there, seeing a live operation, surgery going on a leopard, seeing a live MRI going on an animal, endangered animal as well. And Vantara, as we know, the details that we have is that Vantara is home to more than 2,000 subspecies of rescued animals, about 1.5 lakh rescued, endangered and threatened animals. Vantara is their home, and the Prime Minister going there, and Prime Minister himself being a wildlife lover, he was at the Gir forest also. Earlier we saw that, and now at Vantara, where he's spent a lot of time looking at the entire facility. What we are told that he explored the various facilities, including the Vantara hospital, which is there for animals, which is also a world-class facility. The Prime Minister closely interacted with the various species of animals which have been rehabilitated here. The wildlife, in fact, the wildlife hospital at Vantara has all the modern equipment, be it MRI facilities, the CT scan facilities, ICUs. It also houses various departments, including wildlife anesthesia, cardiology, nephrology, endoscopy, dentistry, internal medicine. The Prime Minister has looked at all these facilities. We can see in these visuals the Prime Minister, playing and feeding various species, including the Asiatic lion cubs, in fact, the white lion cubs, the clouded leopard, which is also a rare and endangered species, the caracal cubs. Also, the Prime Minister, interacted closely with them. The white lion cub, in fact, whom the Prime Minister has fed, was born at this centre itself. The cub's mother was rescued and brought to Vantara for care. This is the information that we have. The carcals, which are now in abundance in India, were once, very rare species, who had become a rare sight in Vantara. The carcals have been bred under a breeding program, in captivity for their preservation, and they are released in the wild later. What is particularly fascinating about this visit, Kritswin, is the Prime Minister visiting the MRI room of this wildlife hospital, where he witnessed an Asiatic lion undergoing an MRI. He also visited the operation theatre at Vantara, where he saw a leopard going through a life-saving surgery after it was hit by a car on the highway and was rescued and brought to Vantara. So this is the speciality of Vantara. The rescued animals at this centre are kept in places which closely mirror their natural habitat, and the Prime Minister has now seen that also very closely. Some of the key conservation success stories initiatives here at the centre include of the Asiatic lion and the snow leopard, the one-horned rhinoceros as well. So we see this Prime Minister, having very close interactions with various animals, the golden tiger, the snow tigers. You will see the Prime Minister closely interacting with them. He in fact patted an okapi. The details we have, we came to face with chimpanzees, in the open, who are kept at the facilities are as pets. He hugged and lovingly played with orangutan as well. These visuals, we can see that, he's seeing up close the hippopotamus, who are also underwater here, along with the crocodiles. The crocodiles are another key feature, key attraction at Vantara. The Prime Minister seeing the crocodiles undertaking a walk between the zebras, feeding the giraffes as well, a rhino calf as well. So I think the I think the PM is really marveling at the facility which is there, the kind of effort which has gone into rehabilitation and recovery of these rescued animals and how they are brought close to their natural habitat, as well as the world-class care at the animal hospital which is given at Vantara to such rescued animals. Prithvi.
Okay, Aman, what stole the show for me was the Prime Minister feeding those Asiatic lion cubs. I think that was just beautiful to watch. Going across to Pallavi as well for a quick comment. Pallavi, now we're talking about a 3,000 acre facility. This is where much focus is laid on animal rescue, conservation, so on and so forth. And while Aman has highlighted some of those aspects, what have you learnt of the Prime Minister exploring various facilities here? This is, of course, located within the Reliance Jamnagar refinery complex.
I think at one platform I heard the Prime Minister saying that it's not just about Prakriti, but it's also about Parampara. If you look at India's Vedas, Upanishads, mythology, all of them have always shown a close bond between nature and our Sanskriti, whether it's wildlife. That man-animal conflict has never been a part of our ethos, has never been a part of our mythology and Vedas and Upanishads. And I think that is best highlighted when the Prime Minister visited Vantara. I mean, Aman has already given in extensive detail the Prime Minister's interaction with the staff, with the animals over there. But I think this is the messaging which the Prime Minister wants to bring across, that while it's important to have development, it cannot be at the cost of our wildlife. It cannot be at the cost of our animal care. And that kind of a synchronization, that kind of an animal-man balance is something which we get to see at Vantara. Many of the species which are rare, which are almost becoming extinct, not just in India but world over, they are kind of found a space over here in Vantara, and that's the point which the Prime Minister repeatedly, when he spent a long time over there, is trying to highlight. Care is something which is intensive to wildlife. That is something that state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art healthcare facilities, something the Prime Minister in his multiple interactions with the staff over there, whether they were doctors, veterinaries, the vets, as well as the nurses, it's just not enough to get the animals, they're bred there or they're growing and born there. It is very important that you look after them in terms of their food, in terms of their hygiene, in terms of their healthcare. All of that seems to be the hallmark of the Prime Minister's visit to Vantara, and a larger message not just to the rest of India but also to the world, that look at our culture, look at our Sanskriti, we know how to take care of our wildlife, and which is why many of the species which are becoming extinct the world over in India, there have been multiple positive stories of them being born here and also being taken care of.
Oh yes, and not to forget the several one-offs. Essentially the Prime Minister's once again sending out a message of how we're leading by example when it comes to these kind of causes. Pallavi, stay on with us. Aman, to take that point a little further, for instance, the elephant hospital there, world's largest, that in itself is a big example in the manner in which India is taking these initiatives forward.
Well, absolutely, Kitswin. I think two more aspects, as you mentioned correctly. The largest hospital in the world for elephants. The elephants, in fact, in great abundance at Vantara, and they need what Vantara has created are this hydrotherapy pools as well to support the recovery of elephants, because elephants generally suffer a lot from arthritis and foot problems. So this hydrotherapy pools help increase their mobility. So the Prime Minister went and in fact saw the workings of this elephant hospital, and in fact there are many such stories at Vantara of rescued animals. Like one story I have been told of this, a large python, a unique two-headed snake, a two-headed turtle, leopard cubs, which were left in the open in an agricultural field but were spotted by villagers, and then they were rescued. And this tiger that we were speaking about also, who was born there, his mother was also a rescued animal. So many such stories of animals being hit on the roads, road accidents. Many animals get hit on the road and maybe they die on the road, but this time now we have seen many such animals who have been victims of road accidents also being brought to Vantara and given a new life, literally. So these are the kind of facilities the Prime Minister has visited. The animal hospital and both the elephant hospital at Vantara are two big success stories. PM spent, we believe, a lot of time there. He interacted with the doctors, he interacted with the supporting staff, the workers who are managing the various facilities, spoke to the doctors on how they treat these animals, the modern facilities that they have, how are they put to use, be it the MRIs or be it the CT scans or be it the operation theaters. So in a way, the Prime Minister was very keenly noticing all these. He spent a lot of time there, and that has been, I think, one of the highlights of his 3-day visit to Gujarat.